Welcome everybody to our presentations. Our presentations today will be about top 5 greatest mankind achievement in the history. Going to the first one, we have the fall of Berlin Wall. The collapse of Berlin Wall symbolized the removal of barriers between East and West. Particularly speaking, the collapse of Berlin Wall allowed for the unifications of Germans and the freedom of movement of persons behind the Iron Curtains. Eastern European nations have been free to pursue their own democratic destinies without interference from Soviet Communist parties since Berlin Wall fell in 1989. They poured through the checkpoints around midnight. Over 2 million East Berliners traveled to West Berlin that weekend to celebrate what one journalist called the largest street party in the history of globe. While cranes and bulldozers turned down sections of world one at a time, people began to chip away at with hammers and picks, earning the nickname War Woodpecker. One Berliner wrote on a sections of war. Only today is the war actually finished. Although many individuals contributed to remove this obstacle, Mikhail Gorbachev was responsible for starting the Perestroika movement, which made it possible for Eastern Europe to gradually achieve political independence. Here we're going to the second one.
The next greatest achievement of humankind throughout history has to be the tallest building in the world, a skyscraper so majestic that it has become an icon of the modern world under the name Vertical City. Burj Khalifa, located in downtown Dubai, developed by Emaar Properties collaborating with Skidmore, Owings and Merrill Architectural, and headed up by a renowned American architect Adrian Smith. Constructed from 21st of September 2004 to 4th of January 2010. With 6 years and 12,000 individuals assistant, this vertical city has peered through the sky with a total height of 828 meters. Burj Khalifa itself is living evidence of mankind's endless potential, that we are not limited by any challenge from Mother Nature, and that we will break through those challenges sooner or later. That's why Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world, is one of humankind's greatest achievements.
People used to have to travel by rail or ship to get from one area to another in the old days. Traveling in those vehicles takes a long time and is extremely exhausting for passengers. But in 1903, something happened that changed the destiny of man transportations forever. Because on December 17, 1903, Orville and Wilbur Wright made the first successful flight in history. The Wright brothers possess amazing technical abilities and a smart perspective to problem solving in mechanical design. In order to pursue their dreams, they decided to settle in Kitty Hawk, an isolated village on North Carolina Outer Bank with consistent winds and smooth sand dunes for gliding and landing. Their first glider, which was tested in 19,000, did poorly, but the second version tested in 1901 performed better. On December 14th, Orville made the first power flight attempt. Their aircraft then ran down a monorail track and took off at 10:35 a.m. on December 17th in front of 5 witnesses, remaining in the air for 12 seconds and traveling 120 feet. The Wright brothers continued to improve their aircraft over the following few years, but they kept quiet about their achievements. By 1905, their aircraft were capable of complex movement and could stay in the air for 39 minutes at that time. They decided to make the first public flight in France in 1908, which excited the public. After the U.S. Army Signal Corps brought a special-made plane in 1909, the Wright brothers established the Wright Company to produce and sell their aircraft. The historic Wright brothers aircraft in 1903 is on permanent display at the National Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C.
Moving on, we have anesthesia, one of the greatest achievements in the history of medicine. Anesthesia is a medical practice that shields patients from discomfort during procedures like surgery, some diagnostic and screening tests, and the removal of tissue samples. On October 16, 1846, William Morton made a breakthrough in history of medicine by being the first in the world to successfully demonstrate the use of anesthesia for surgery. The anesthetist was William Morton, and the surgeon was John Warren. The operation was the removal of a lump under a patient's jaw. The introduction of anesthesia changed the medicine history permanent, marked the invention of modern anesthesia and enabling painless treatment throughout complex procedures. Last but not least, many significant life-saving procedures such as open heart surgery, brain surgery, and organ transplant would not be possible without general anesthesia.
In 2019, the COVID infection has spread, hurting the economies and health of numerous nations worldwide. Many people have died because of it. But since the first Pfizer vaccine came out in December 2020, it has helped limit the number of people infected. After that, they create and develop other vaccines, including Moderna, Sputnik V, AstraZeneca, which is the type that we use the most right now in Vietnam. So those vaccine is unique in the way that it instruct our cells preciously how to produce particular protein to fight viruses. The innovative immunization strategy makes it possible for us to fight off the hitherto unachievable disease categories. The number of COVID infection has dropped and recovered really well thanks to vaccination. One more reason is that it only took us a year to create a new vaccination. This procedure typically takes 5 to 10 years. So it's a great job though. The fact that we were able to accelerate the process so significantly opened up these possibilities that future vaccine development will move much more quickly, as we have learned important lesson in vaccine development. So I think it should be one of the greatest humankind achievement for me.